Good evening, beautiful Black people. How is everyone today? Welcome to the Black Wealth Project. We are here every Sunday at 7 p.m. ish. We try to be here at 7 p.m. sharp, but you know how things go. Today, we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Black money myths. So the whole team has seen so many things that have gone wrong in our community, whether it be taxes, whether it be mortgages, whether it be faulty real estate deals. And we want to try to help put some positive and right information out into the universe about these issues so our community can stop being abused by those. So today we're going to be talking about, again, Black money myths. And everybody, make sure you put your questions in the comments section and also on the side there. So hello, everybody. How's everybody today?
Peace.
Hey.
What's up, good brother? How you?
Telling like a villain.
All right, well, we might as well get into it. Health check-in. Who going first? Don't everybody speak at once.
I mean, listen, I get my jump shots up every week. You know, I got my jump shots up this week. I chased down the ball. You know, I ate like a damn Viking this weekend though, because my wife's birthday was this weekend though. So I don't think I lost no weight. I think I ate my weight. I think I ate my weight in steak this weekend.
Well, happy birthday to the wifey.
Yes, happy birthday.
Yeah, so that was my week.
Okay. What's up with you, Malik? You get anything popping this week? You lost a couple pounds. You been out in your backyard.
I lost 1 pound. I lost 1 pound actually. So I was definitely out in the backyard. Like, you know, last night, my first harvest ever. You know, I was able to get some food out of the backyard, and we made some rainbow chard and some potatoes, and my wife pan-seared some scallop, and you know, it was a good meal. Good luck.
All right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I saw the IG post.
Yeah, I was a little concerned when you said harvest. I was wondering what you had out in the back.
Yeah, I'm in the backyard for sure.
All right. What's up with you, Tracy? How you making out? Walking, doing them showings?
Yes, very good. Definitely doing a lot of this. I want to take a different spin on this week's health conversation as well, and just tell everybody, please wear your masks, wash your hands. COVID is still here, and I need my folks to protect their health because we are not making it out of some of these hospital situations. I literally heard about 3 different deaths over the weekend just due to COVID, and folks are not taking it seriously. So I need you guys all to definitely make sure you are doing as much social distancing as you can, and you're wearing your mask, and you're being safe, and you're also making smart choices about where you are frequenting in these modified green counties in Pennsylvania.
So, Tracy, I gotta ask, right? I know we have watchers from all over the city and all over the country, but did y'all see the block party in Southwest Philly over the weekend?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yo, I was like, Philly is different.
Philly opened itself.
But listen, I want to say this though. I do want to say this because I think it needs to be said. The block party was lit. It looked like it was no problem.
Yo, it was. It was. But come on, man.
We gotta
shout out to
and the cop that was there.
No,
mad love.
He was
God.
Under regular circumstances,
that was out of control.
That would have been a great gathering and a very, as the kids say, litty situation. And I was here for it. Outside of COVID-19 still being an entire pandemic, and Black and brown people are being taken down at a very, very much quicker rate than other folks.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the only person that had a mask on was the cop. Nobody else had a mask on. They definitely were not.
I mean, with all the people around him, I don't know if his mask actually mattered though. But you know, anyway.
How about that?
Black masks matter.
Yo. All right, Jimmy. How you doing the Peloton? You get some more goals?
Listen, man. Another 3 pounds down. Total of 21 in the last 5 weeks. Because I'm tracking my weight every week and my food every week. And it's amazing when you start writing down what you eat, how it changes your eating habits. But Yeah, so 21 down in the last 5 weeks. Peloton, I'm killing it. You know, I'm Tread Hampton now. You know, like if I get a couple more days, I'll be you know what I'm saying? I'm working on becoming Tread G Sanford, but you know, I'm out here.
Hilarious.
Tread,
All right.
man.
All right.
Tread
You know what? I
Hampton.
was trying to figure out what Tread Hampton was, but now I got it.
Oh yeah, for my treadmill, man. My Peloton treadmill, man.
I got it. So congratulations, brother.
Tready Mercury. You know what I mean? You know. But go ahead though.
All right, Courtney, what you got? I know you was on that Peloton too.
Yeah, so interesting enough, I'm like, I think I'm like maybe 6 rides from 250 total. So that's really exciting. 246 of them would have been in 2020. So that's really exciting. That being said, and to Tracy's point, I actually had to get tested for COVID today. So the Black doctors in Philadelphia have been doing COVID testing for the last couple of weeks.
Shout out to the Black doctors.
I mean, just amazing. I mean, and the biggest thing is that we have been underserved when it comes to testing. That being said, I am in self-quarantine at my house with my grandmother who is 91 and my mother who's in remission from cancer. So this is not like a fun thing. So, and I mean, and again, to the point of like, I haven't really done anything out of the ordinary. I went to the office, you know? So again, I'm like, I mean, I had a slight temperature yesterday. I don't feel bad, but I don't feel good either. So, I mean, a lot of people say, listen, if you don't feel that bad and you're not like laid out somewhere, make sure you're exercising, make sure you're getting your lungs moving, working, whatever. So after we get off, I'm hopping on the bike, going to do like a low impact for 30 minutes. We're going to rock out. So unfortunately, I had to get it up my nose, both sides. Did not like it. And my fiance also had to get tested. And we had to send the kids to his mom's, which, I mean, if we're infected, we vaccine infected the kids. It's real bad. So, you know, we have to be careful. Especially like, it's just hard. It's hard. You have to be careful. You know, wash your hands as much. I mean, I've washed my hands. I've been, you know, diligent, but there had to be something somewhere, or I could just have a cold. I don't know. But again, you know, those are the things that are going on. So, you know, I just reiterate what Tracy says. Be diligent, you know, don't take anything for granted. And I'll check in with you guys. I mean, it takes, I think they said like 7 to 10 business days, and they'll call you if you're positive. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So I get a phone call from an unknown number. I'm like, well, damn it. So we'll see. So just
so do you have to stay in your room
if you're not positive, they just don't call you at all?
Yeah, you can call, like, I think they said in a couple of days, like LabCorp to see if what your test exams, like your results are, but they will call you directly if you're positive. So you can get them either way, but they will call you. In terms of, what was your question, Kamari?
Do you have to stay in your room the whole time? I mean, can you leave? Can you go out? Or is it truly self-quarantine the whole time?
Where am I going? I can go to the bathroom, and then we have a thing of Clorox in the bathroom. So when I get done, everything that I touch, I have to wipe down with bleach. Wow. Yes, right. I'm a little upset. Little upset.
I got you.
You said you had it in both, is that part of the test to get it in both nostrils, or was it a reason?
Yeah, both nostrils. I thought it was just one nostril, and I was like, you know, and it was uncomfortable, and I was like sitting there, and I almost had tears in my eyes, and I was like, all right, cool, we're done. She was like, oh no, we have to do the other side. I said, excuse you?
Oh.
So again, like, so I mean, across the board, you just don't want this to happen. You don't want to have to put yourself in a position where you say, like, you know what, everybody should get tested. Let's be very honest, because you can be an asymptomatic carrier. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, even if you're putting yourself in a position, and actually one of the symptoms of COVID is vomiting, diarrhea. And guess what? Somebody threw up at the testing site. I was like, oh, time to go. It's time to go. So, and it's crazy because it's people that look like us. So we just have to be super, super careful. So
yeah, absolutely. I hope all is well.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely hope all is well. Definitely be saying a prayer for you.
Prayers up.
Put out positive energy for Courtney and her mom and her grandma. All right, Jimmy, we're right along. You have the honor and privilege of presenting this week's Bob. What you got?
Yes, absolutely. So this Black-owned business of the week is Digital Extreme Technologies. I know you got the site and the IG and everything. This is a Black-owned firm. They work in digital marketing, web design, and also technical consulting. and I've used them several times, and they're very professional. And they give custom websites, so it's not like you're picking a website template or what have you. And they're very good at SEO. So for those out there running a business, Black-owned business, here's a Black-owned company that can help you with your technical consulting needs, your digital marketing, and specifically SEO, because that's very important if you want to have your business seen. So it's Digital Extreme Technologies. The website is digitalextremetech.com, and also they're on IG, at Digital Extreme Tech.
Jimmy, can you tell everybody what SEO is real quick, just and tell them why it's important?
Search engine optimization. So when someone goes on the web and they're like, looking up a specific type business or even your business, you want to make sure that you show up. If I Google your business and someone else shows up, I guess that could be problematic, right? So it optimizes your search traffic.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so listen, we're going to move on to our main topic of the day, and the main topic of the day is Black money myths. So I know we talk about this all the time in the group in our private chat. I don't know if it was me or if it was Courtney or Tracy who suggested it this week, but we all have like these crazy stories about these crazy ideas as it relates to money, whether it be mortgages, whether it be tax, real estate, insurance. There's a lot of craziness going on, and a lot of times our people suffer because they have the wrong information. It's almost like that Bible parable. It says, our people perish for the lack of knowledge. So today, hopefully, we can bring some clarity around that. So, Tracy, you had a crazy story about mortgage burning, I think it was.
Yes.
You want to tell people about that?
Sure. Okay. So a lot of folks who I'm going to say probably somewhere around about into the 50s, into the 60s. If you have grandparents or parents that are in that age bracket, have known something called a mortgage burning party. What that was in that time frame was pretty much you would have a house, you would pay a bank or a owner, someone who owned the title to your property, your money to pay off a loan. Once the loan is paid off, they would issue you what's called a mortgage satisfaction, which is a document that says you paid your mortgage, you paid your obligation, and you now own the property. Well, to celebrate that back in that time, because a lot of people were first time or first generation homeowners, they would have mortgage burning parties where it would be in celebration of satisfying their mortgage that they now own it, that they would literally burn the piece of paper that the bank would issue them in celebration. There are a lot of ideologies that have come out of that thought process that still exist today, that people also don't understand that once you're issued the satisfaction from the bank saying that you've paid off your mortgage, you actually need to take that piece of paper, because it's the only piece of paper in the entire world that proves as a receipt that you have paid off your mortgage. You need to take it to your local city hall and have it filed and recorded that you no longer owe this person or this entity money anymore, and they no longer have rights to your title. And if you do not do that, you will not have proof. And there is a lot of legal work that needs to be done in order to back prove that you do actually own this property. So one of the things that we talked about in our group chat with the discussion about Black money myths is not understanding the responsibility you have, that once you own a property and you pay it off, there is an onus on you as the owner to record it, to make sure that for perpetuity, for your children who you may pass the property down to, for a new buyer that you're trying to sell the house to, or anybody else that might need the title or wants to take ownership of the property, you need to have something that proves that you no longer owe anyone. And not just, I paid the last payment and here's the proof of the check that I paid it. You need the satisfaction.
So Tracy, it's 2020. You mean to tell me people are still doing that now?
Yes.
I mean, I just find that so hard to believe. I mean, is it just me, y'all? I mean, am I the only one?
I mean, it happens, especially, I mean, I ran the sheriff's cell, so we would have these problems, and this actually happened in Philadelphia a lot with the VA-backed mortgages. So the VA, and a lot of times, let me clarify, so Tracy brought up some really good points, but a lot of times your mortgagee, I think, mortgage or mortgagees, whatever, they will actually send it to the county recorder of deeds on your behalf. Sometimes they do not. Sometimes they send it to you. So if you receive it, you need to go file it. And Alexis made a very valid point, and she said, reported with the county recorder of deeds where the property is located. That's correct. However, Philadelphia is a city county, so our city and the county are the same. So our recorder of deeds is for the city county of Philadelphia. So that's the clarifying point. So in terms of actually cleaning this, I mean, so that used to happen a lot. And so family members, we would still see properties on the sheriff's cell rolls that were listed as the Department of Veterans Affairs. Veterans Affairs, like, we don't know this. I'm like, well, and then we would end up getting the satisfaction from the 80s or the 90s that was never filed. So basically what happened, the property would be in the Department of Veterans Affairs. So when it was paid off, then they would convey the property directly to the family member, or the person who owned it. But unfortunately, that wasn't explained very well. And then the person passed away. And then Philadelphia had what's called a tangled title. So by the time that it would come to sheriff's cell to the city to actually seek restitution for payment of taxes, we may be in a second or third generation separated from the person who originally owned the property. So people do it a lot because, again, to Tracy's point, they just don't know. But we have to, if you have assets, you have to be a responsible owner of the asset. And that means, and again, we have to talk to each other. You may not know everything. I don't know everything. But if I talk to people, I can get the best answer. And it's not talking to my cousin either. It's talking to a professional. It's talking to an attorney. It's talking to a real estate professional. It's talking to, whoever that is a professional in this field, and not talking to somebody who you think you know because you have a relationship with them. They may not have the best information. So.
Gotcha. Hold on 1 second. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to check in with the audience. So Don Johnson, how are you? Missy Edwards, how are you? Thank you all for joining. Francine Taylor says she praised you well, Courtney.
Thank you.
Kia Kennedy, shout out to the Black Doctors. Absolutely, the Black Doctors have definitely been holding it down. Yes, we have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Ronald Smith. Are you serious, though? You're playing exactly to this. I'm hoping you're trying to help us out, but you did the same thing last week. So that one right there, are you spamming us? Come on, man. Are you trolling? What's going on? Or did you just copy and paste this? I'm really curious, homie. But let me know, because I'm trying to be optimistic. But
hey, block dude, man. Block him right now. Just block him ASAP.
That looks like somebody hacked his account, being all honest.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
Either way, just in case.
All right. Yeah. I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but I mean, listen, those are some of the money myths, right? That MLM thing in our community is crazy right now, and it's been crazy for quite a while. But anyway, back to regular programming. Jimmy, have you seen any crazy things throughout your career that kind of talk to what's going on Black money myths?
I'm going to try to be brief because I have so many of them. One, I don't think I really have to go into the detail, but more income equals more wealth. A lot of our folks believe that. Like, all I have to do is make more money. And one of you who shared the Eric quote, like, a lot of your money problems aren't money related. Because more income doesn't equal more wealth. Another one that bothers me is I don't need an emergency fund because I have credit cards. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen that as well, right? And that's problematic too. So you're going to use your credit cards and then put yourself into deeper debt without an emergency fund. So the fact is, if you actually need an emergency, think about that. That's an emergency. You're going to get yourself further in the hole during your emergency. Now, it's like, sometimes there may come a time where you use credit cards. For the most part, everyone should have an emergency fund. Everybody should have an emergency fund, and it shouldn't just be your credit cards that act as your emergency fund. So that's one that bothers me. And the last one I'll put out there is before I save for retirement, I need to first pay off all my debt. And I've seen people pay 10, 30, 40 years to pay off all their debt, and now they think they can retire, but they have nothing because they've So those are three right there off the top that just bother me. I'm pretty sure some of you guys have seen those. But the whole idea behind the emergency fund, that one really, really bothers me. Like, I just have credit cards, so I don't need to have an emergency fund.
Yeah, I've seen that one a lot. I've gotten to a couple of debates with a couple of the people in the Black Wealth Project group over that exact subject. But yeah. What about you, Malik? What you got going?
So one,
Malik?
you hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
You froze.
Now we do.
Student loans are good. That's the first thing. I mean, that's a whole other issue. But nah, man, I used to be in line with everybody else.
Malik, hold on. Say that one more time. You got choppy on it. Say that one more time.
So all student loans are good.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, that's nasty.
Are y'all here? Should I change up?
Yeah,
Nah, I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
All right, am I back or what?
Malik, I can hear you. You're going in and out though.
All right, I could change out here. Hold on. Let me change. Look at my.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, Corey, what do you think?
Excuse me. Let me turn my AC down. Money myths. All right. I live some of these money myths. I used to have what I would call mattress money. Where you don't need to put your money in no institution and no bank and none of that. Keep the money in your crib and in your under your mattress and shoe boxes. I lived the shoebox mattress life for a minute. I had an account, but I never put any money in it. So I've always had bank accounts, but they was just like stand-ins, just so I could say that I was part of the system. But it was never really no money in those bank accounts. Me and the federal government been at beef since I've been old enough to understand what beef was. So, that was part of me beefing with the federal government. I ain't want no part of no banks. I used to cash my check. I used to use check cashing places for my legitimate, money making. And so,
Wow.
they used to bop me over the head for my little couple dollars because I didn't want to put my money in the bank. And then I realized, I started doing the math on that. I was like, shit, I'm about to put my money in the bank. I just did a little bit of math. I literally sat down one day and seen how much money I was getting cracked in the head for. I was like, oh shit, what am I doing? So I lived that one for a minute. Let me see. Other money myths. All money is good money or is not good money. Sometimes what you got to do to get money ain't worth it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can give you 150,000 scenarios about how all money ain't good money.
Absolutely. So this is interesting. So Jairus just put in, she had to Google what unbanked was. And so Corey, you just kind of talked about that. While you weren't unbanked, you were acting like you were unbanked and using check places. And that is a major problem in our community, and check cashing places.
Yes, it is.
Make great profit off of
No, it was crazy. Like, I mean, I wasn't unbanked. My mom actually worked at a bank. My mom was an accountant. But so I had accounts. I had people. What's crazy was people were saving money for me. Mom, grandma, dad. But me, every dime I made.
Yours was a mentality. It was the mentality. It was a mentality issue.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't about actual banking. You know what I mean? Like when the first thing my grandmother did when I turned 18 years old is she took me to the bank and took me to the account that I had so that I could help pay for college. You know what I mean? Like and stuff like that. My dad, sent me some money. He ain't actually sent me money. He sent me some stock certificates that I had to go figure out how to get the money from. He sent me stock certificates.
That's great though.
That's
that's old school.
Hey, listen, I can't even tell you what was on the stocks because I couldn't even tell you what was on those stocks. I could be a trillionaire right now. But as soon as he sent me the Jones, I went directly and cashed them Jones out.
Cashed them all right out.
Cashed them straight out. Cash money. No, listen, I was told as a kid cash was king. So I just had cash laying around everywhere. I ain't even gonna lie. Like I didn't have a credit card until I was like.
Is that a money myth, you guys? Is that a money myth? Because I've heard two things: cash is king, and also cash is trash.
It's a combo.
Both can't be right.
It's to me like a lot of people they modify or they put up one or the other. But the problem is that people don't understand is that they work in tandem.
Right.
And that's the thing is I have all the credit people who are like pushing credit. They're like, yeah, well, if you have 800 credit score, you have access to all this money. Credit is an introduction. The lender still has to tell you yes or no. I had 2 lenders tell me no recently because and Tracy knows my problems with this, but I make over $100,000. Okay, my credit is well over 700, and I was still having problems with lenders, and I didn't have anything crazy going on. I had an asset problem. So my issue is that it's not telling the full story. It's just not. And in order to and I don't feel like we should be pushing one side of the story for our financial benefit because that's predatory. I can tell you the benefit of credit without doing that. I just wrote an article about 3 ways to be, to avoid financial entanglement. And one was to maintain and establish and maintain good credit. And it's not just because of what you have the ability to be lent on, but your insurance rates are going to be higher because they said those with poorer credits, the statistics show. I always look funny at the statistics, but we'll go with it for now. The statistics shows that those with lower credit actually make more claims, get in more accidents. So your premium's going to reflect it. If you actually do get approved to get into an apartment with poor credit, guess what? Your deposit's going to be higher. And if you get a car, they'll give a car to anybody. Like literally, if you have a Pulse, they'll give a car to anyone. But again, you're going to pay significantly more. You are so again, when you look at the numbers, and I told in this story that thanks, Kamari, for pulling it up. When I wrote it in 2007, I got a 2008, I got a 2007 Jetta. My credit was terrible. So you know how much I paid in interest? 18% for a daggone car. So I was driving around a credit card.
Yeah, oh Lord.
Yo, listen,
I just want to give you a shout out.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to give you a shout out for writing an article that included the word entanglement right now because you talk about great SEO and great marketing.
Yeah.
You found a way to capitalize off the word entanglement. So I just want to give you a shout out for that. That's brilliant.
I was going to say the first time I bought a car with any kind of to use credit, I was like 35 because I used to just buy cars. I never leased a car or did any so I never used my credit. I never even thought about using my credit till I was about 35 years old and I already had kids because I was told if you want it, you gotta have the money to go get it. So I really took that to heart. Like, all right, if I can't afford it, then I just can't. So I used to be one of those people that go, all right, let me go get some more money. Let me find a way to go in and grind up some more dollars so I can have what I want. I never used my credit at all until I was about 35 years old. So I never even thought about trying to have, I wasn't one of those people that got caught in the credit card scams as a high schooler. I never even looked at them. They be sitting out there. I never even looked at it. I had a shoebox when I moved into my dorm full of $20 bills. Somebody could have had my whole life. I'm just saying that's how I was living.
Stop looking at him like that, ladies. We're not going there.
See, that's the problem. But that's the problem with a lot.
But
No,
I
but
was
I'm saying,
18. I was 18 years old. That was a lifetime ago. But what I'm saying is that was the mentality coming from my neighborhood. So it wasn't even from my household because, like I said, my mom and my grandmothers they didn't live like that. But the streets had me by the balls. So I did I did what people that live that kind of street mentality
no,
do.
I understand that, but that's why I said your situation is a mentality. It's a mentality. Now we have access to so much information that you can just pick up your phone. But the problem is, to Courtney's point, you have people pushing certain things because they're making money pushing certain things.
Right.
So one of the problems with being in an information age, you know what information is good and what isn't. You know what I mean? And everybody's looking for the lottery ticket. So some of the information that they go search for, they take the path of least resistance.
Right.
Yep.
So,
I mean, I want to say this real quick, then I want to get back to Malik because he's on. I do say cash is king, because that's what I learned in my first finance 101 course, right? I do understand that it is a nuanced situation, but if you have cash and you're educated, you can always put your cash to work. And so, like Courtney said, like Jimmy said, we see all these people that are pushing credit services. Well, at some point, you're going to need cash to pay for that credit. I mean, but they never talk about that at all. It's just get rich. You can cash out, refi. You can do so many things with the credit, but all of it's about nuance, and all of it's about having a tailor-made custom solution for yourself. But Malik, what did you have on this? You're back with us now.
So, in the interest of time, I got three things I want to talk about. One, student loans. That's the first thing. I was poor managing my student loans, and I was one of the people lined up to get my refund when it came out. And most of us thought that we were supposed to live on those student loan refunds. But nobody was like, nah, you're not supposed to. So it's like, no, instead of getting a job, take out the student loan to help carry you through the semester. And now I'm 42 years old. I still got some time to pay them student loans, right? That's one thing. What I do want to talk about is even talking to me is I'm one of the people where I'm like, even as a business owner, I still don't see the value, right, in leasing the car versus own it. So maybe some of the financial advisors in here can advise me on that, because there are people that say they would rather lease everything, whether they have a business or not. And then, so I need you to speak to me. And then the last, I think, worst advice that I've seen most recently is there's someone selling houses in a certain city, and they're sending people to get business lines of credit with zero payment for a year to buy the house in a certain city, to rehab a house in that certain city that they're not even from, not even close to, probably like 8-hour drive away. And I think that's terrible. And the thing is, there's not just like one or two people. There's dozens of people taking business lines of credit out to buy houses and using that line of credit to rehab houses in a city 8 hours away.
I mean, so Malik, tell us what you think about that, right? Like, what's your issue with that? You said it's 8 hours.
What's my issue with that in particular?
Yeah.
Well, one is way easier ways. I don't say easier. There are better ways, I think, to finance a rental property than using a business line of credit. Way low right now. Mortgage rates are very low, so why not get a traditional mortgage rehab loan to buy that house? Versus using a business line of credit. You get the business loan, right? Or I'm sorry, get a business credit card, and then it's your first property, and you buy it without even seeing that property and hoping that the person selling you the property is selling to you at a good price and rehabbing at a good price that makes sense to you, and you've never seen that property. I think that's
a quick question. So are these novice? These are novice because you said it's their first property. These are not.
Yeah. Vast majority are novice. Never owned anything.
Oh wow. Now, yeah, that's interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And the crazy part about that, Malik, is that advice they pay constantly just to get that advice, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. They paying $10,000. They paying $10,000 to get that advice.
Facts.
Whew, I think we should really talk about that. I think the question, there's a couple of questions. The first thing is, why would you not get a traditional mortgage? Well, line of credit is quicker. I mean, I have to go through a process that's going to take me maybe 30 days at minimum to get a traditional mortgage, as opposed to basically with a business line of credit is basically I'm swiping and I'm done. I'm in and out. So again, I can see why that's, in terms of the lottery mentality, I can see how that's appealing to people. And again, I think people feel like, you know, we've been so far behind.
Least resistance.
And exactly, that's exactly what I was getting at, Jimmy.
I didn't hear what Jimmy said. What did Jimmy say?
Path of least resistance is like, it's the quickest way to get what I want. And it's like, it may be the quickest way to get what you want, but it may not be the best way. And again, to the point of just generally working through these things, is that sometimes you can get rich slow. It's okay. It's all right. Because some of the shortcuts that you're making, to Malik's point, is going to put you in a really bad spot. Because the economy a year from now is going to be very different. Are you going to be prepared to? I mean, we all look at the great side of it. Like, this is perfect. This is going to work out really, really well. But what if it doesn't? What you going to do? Because that's going to come due. And
listen, I will say this. I'm not saying that as an experienced investor using a business line or a business credit card, I'm not saying that that is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that without all the knowledge, it's a bad thing. Like the logic is buy it on that and get a tenant and that pay it back. You know, and mind you, they're doing these loans with people with poor credit, so they can't even refinance to pay that debt back. You know, it's just they're using, because they have a way that they're using a brand new business to get credit on that brand new business and run it up to get something else. But anyway, it's just a lot of myths around that certain program.
So I get what Alexis is saying. I mean, she suggests that a hard money lender may be necessary as well in the situation if a novice, but they're not engaging. A hard money lender is probably who you need to engage in these types of deals, but that's not what the pitch is. That's not the system. So I think we're kind of addressing, but not addressing the system that's problematic.
Right, but also say this real quick: a hard money lender is going to require money down. With the business, business line of credit, you could just go, I got it, here's money. Like I said, once again, I'm not bashing it. Business line of credit, I'm not bashing business credit cards. I'm not bashing any of that. But it's just the implementation of how to use it, you know, is the myth that I wanted to address.
So, and I get your point, and I agree with that. But also, too, like, let's discuss history. Like, the exception to the rule, which was introduced in 2006, 2007, the pick-a-pay mortgage was one of the fastest growing mortgage usage in 2006, 2007, because people were selling them with 500 credit scores, no money down, 100% financing, and you could pick your mortgage payment every month, whether it was an interest-only payment, a fully amortized payment, or literally just a 10% ARM loan at best. And no one who were sold those loans knew how to use them or understand economics or how that money was being re-amortized as well as used on the principal of their loan. So if you don't do your research, if you don't understand economics, if you don't understand the investment or understand wealth, you need to research. And that's the only way you're going to be able to get ahead. Nothing is ever quick when it comes to long-term wealth, because generational wealth has to be attention paid.
Now, Tracy, you just said research, right? You sound like Allen Iverson saying that we talking about practice. Anybody trying to research, right? They trying to get the bag.
And that's my concern with some of the black myths with money as well. I know we love a good get rich quick scheme. I know we love to cut corners and do all these things. But unfortunately, we are not going to be able to sustain wealth at a large masses if we do not understand the rules of economics as well as the tax code. And that's just something that you're going to just have to learn and you're going to have to do. And if you don't pay that attention, you're going to be left on the sideline.
All right, I don't want to stop the conversation, but I got to talk about something that just came to my mind when we were talking about knowing do your own research. Yo, we got to talk about these flower susus. We got to talk about that, man. Like these joints is nutty.
I was
Like,
just thinking about that too. I was just thinking about.
Yo. So with these flower susus, like now, I don't have a problem with traditional susus. Traditional susus actually work. Traditional susus, everybody put their money in, and then they take it, they build the business, and then the person from the business pays the susu back the money, and then so that the next person can go in and run the business or whatever, get the next business running. So I don't have a problem with traditional susus. I don't even want that to get out into the ether. But these new flower susus where you pay $400 in and then 6 weeks later you're supposed to get another $1,600 back, that's goofy. Like somebody's gonna get left holding the bag because if you don't bring the new people in, then the person above them don't get paid. And so at the end there has to be a bag holder, somebody who paid in that doesn't get paid back out. And that's just basic ass math. So
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Corey. They're also being called blooming wills.
That's what I was going to say. The other name.
So, and I mean, technically, they're not even really susus, even though they're
what are they called? I'm sorry, what are they called?
Blooming wills. Some of them kind of tag on to susu. Are you familiar with susu, Jimmy? Well, for everybody that's not familiar with susu.
So yeah, I get called.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, like susu is a West African concept to basically promote saving and investing money amongst close family and friends, people that are trustworthy. The people that really, really hold it down that I can tell right now are many of the Caribbean massive, many Jamaicans, folks from St. Croix, St. Martin's, and Haitians as well. A lot of them hold it down when it comes to susu. So, it's also being called Ujima Gifting Collective as well. So that's a great point. Thank you so much. It's been giving a lot of different names, and it's been remixed. Like Corey said, it's kind of remixed. But again, only do it with people that you trust. Only do it with people that you trust. That you can go knock on their door and say, "Where's my payment at?" And it's going to be an issue.
See, I don't even want to go there. I mean, if I have to do all of that, then I need to go put my money in some options somewhere. We're not doing this because that.
I would agree with you, but I've talked to several people about this, and they're like, "Well, I know the people, I trust them," and I'm like, "Okay." I was like,
listen. One of my good homies, he's like, "Yo, it worked. It worked. He did it 2-3 times, and and I think he probably do it again. So as long as you got people giving it, like saying it works, more people are going to go ahead and do it.
But Alexis brings up a very valid point that this is actually turning out to be a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal. So we have to be mindful of that also. I mean, I just think it's like, and there's legal, and as she brings up again, there are legal setups that you can do it this way. But in most situations, these are not quite legal schemes. And we have to be careful about that because you burn the wrong person, everybody's going to common pleas.
And see, and Malik, to your point, your homie, his bread out, but Corey said somebody gonna get caught holding the bag, right?
Right.
So, and I get, ever since the pandemic started, I think I get a call at least once a day about these things, and it really picked up. So my response now is I just tell people, look, show me somebody on the Forbes list from a susu, and then I'll join your susu, and then they leave me. But it's somebody's gonna get hurt, right? And it might not just got in or there for people, but it's like math is very simple. I mean, you can get the whole world to join your susu. Like, how's it supposed to?
But the thing is, like, you're supposed to bring in 2 more people, right? And so, you might as well just borrow money from your 2 people you brought in. Then right. Susu, like, let me borrow $100 real fast for y'all.
Exactly. But you know what? I want to take this next one. Well, we all can take it, right? But Sierra Roberts said jobs are pyramid schemes. So this is one of the myths that I think is really detrimental. So it's not a pyramid scheme. You're being compensated for a job and value that you bring to the table. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that, well, there's a CEO or a president, and everybody follows suit. But that's not necessarily a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is what we've been talking about, is when you got to pay your money up front. You got to bring somebody else in, right? Because to bring somebody else in, you're now part of the distribution system. You're a recruiter. You don't typically have to recruit when you're at a job unless you're at HR and you're actually doing that as a function, right? And your pay typically isn't necessarily pegged to how many people you bring in. So your job isn't a pyramid scheme. Again, I hear a lot of people say that, and I think that's a terrible analogy. I know we are in the anti-job climate right now, but a lot of people who have jobs right now are actually very thankful that they still got a job, and they're not amongst the 30 million people who are unemployed. So we got to be really careful about the things that we say. All right, so now she says America is a pyramid scheme. Well, we can debate that one. But we're jumping around a little bit, though.
You can make the argument.
Talk about the 7 streams of income. I want to put this in perspective. One of the screens of income is earned income. Where do you get that from? Typically your job. That's typically where you get it from, or your job, your business that you're actively working in. Okay, that's all right. But a lot of people have been able to win on their earned income. It's a steady thing that you're expecting on a regular basis. And that's okay. And I feel like when we talk about jobs being pyramid schemes, we're basically shaming those who have a 9-to-5. And I don't think that's fair. I mean, first of all, let's be very honest. Not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. It's not everybody is set up that way. And I think it's a very important thing that we look at it that way. Like, hey, I mean, and even the person who's saying that America, making these comments about pyramid schemes, they're saying they have they're a CNA and they're also a realtor. So they're actually doing these things that, you have a job that is a regular payment, and then you also a realtor, so you're getting commission. So I'm sorry.
She's hustling.
Yeah, you doing the thing. So I get what you're saying, and I understand as a Black woman, at least this is from my perspective, I can see how it gets very difficult and very overwhelming as working in a job 9-to-5, and sometimes you don't feel like you're probably being compensated. I get it, but that's what causes you to do something else in addition. And my goal is always to say, okay, when my side hustle exceeds my regular 9-to-5, I'm out. But until then, there's other things that I have to do. And at the end of the day, my mortgage company that I'm trying to get this mortgage from don't care about an entrepreneurial nothing. They want to see a W-2, period. So, I mean, I think you have to be very careful. This is why I think
in terms of,
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
And I think in terms of this show, right? I think the biggest money myth there is that there's a one size fits all approach to like personal finance, happiness, jobs, the whole nine, right? Everyone's looking for like this magic thing. There's really no one size fits all approach to anything. And and I understand the whole idea that we try not to job shame, because just to give an example, I once used to work for Johnson & Johnson, and they had these like option plans in terms of employees getting stock options. So, and I say that to say there were managers there who were multimillionaires because of just putting money in their 401ks as well as taking the options on the company. And they would have laughed at me if I would say, you got a job, you got to be an entrepreneur. They would have looked at me like I was crazy, because they enjoyed what they were doing and they were worth millions, and they worked a 9-to-5. So everything's not for everybody. And a lot of times what I see specifically online is this one size fits all approach to finance, and that's just not true. But a lot of times you could tell what someone's selling based upon what they're pushing. If it's someone that's into gold, their whole thing is you can't buy stocks, you got to do gold. Or if it's a real estate properties with business credit, or if it's a credit person, you know what I mean? So you could tell by what they're pushing, but there is no one size fits all approach. Everybody's situation is different when it comes to jobs as well as investing.
Absolutely. I want to talk about this comment real quick because I thought it was a really good comment. Adrian Anderson says, we just call it the money pot. We use it to offset costs for family gatherings and the upkeep of family house emergencies as opposed to investing. So I love it. They are practicing group economics. I would also invest too, but do whatever works for you and your family. However, you still have multiple people coming together, putting their money together to make sure the family's straight. I mean, if we had people do more of that, we would have less of a gentrification problem.
Hey, can I ask her a quick question? Who benefits from the family house that they upkeep?
And say it again, Malik.
I was asking Adrian who benefits from the family house that everybody puts money into the upkeep.
Okay. So while we're waiting for Adrian to respond, I'm just going to chime in with my money myths that drive me crazy, right? So the money myth that drives me crazy is everybody's saying that they don't have to pay taxes. And I think there's enough data out there that shows that when you don't pay taxes, right? I mean, if you think about Lauryn Hill, if you think about Fat Joe, if you think about Wesley Snipes, all these people got in trouble because they didn't pay their taxes. Now, if you owe $100 to the IRS, you're not necessarily going to go to jail right away. It has to become criminal. So it means the IRS has been trying to contact you for a long time. And by the way, everybody doesn't get on the IRS's radar, but once they got you, you pretty much are not going to be able to get out of that web you've weaved. So, did Adrian respond?
I don't see it, but I think one of the things that I really would like to clear up about the one size fits all. I definitely one size does not fit all situations, but I think one of the things that are super important is that we have to have an understanding of the basic principles. And there was a comment that I saw earlier about why don't we teach out this financial literacy in schools? And this is my pet peeve, and this might be a money myth, I don't know, but why are we always looking for somebody else to educate us? Why?
But not only that, people that have known history not to like us to educate us.
Facts. Exactly. So it just,
you sound like Malcolm, boy.
We need to sit down and say, okay, like I can explain to you economics. I also am tired of explaining things to people that want to argue with me that read a book and hasn't experienced nothing. But you read a book though. Okay. So that just gets on my nerves because I think it's really important that we teach each other, but we actually teach each other the right things. And it's looking to the experts that have the experience and have the education to get on the right page. I don't want an elementary school teacher or a high school teacher teaching this. I really don't. I'm gonna keep it funky. Like, you stay in your lane. You teach education about history. I got the money. We got money. Don't step in. I'm not gonna step in your lane. You stay in yours. Because again, I just don't trust the American education system. And
to your point, right? I mean, I found this old recording from Jerika Duncan, who used to be a reporter in Philly, just talking about the myths that are in many of our textbooks about Black people and about slavery. Mm-hmm. So if they can't get that right, how are they going to get the money right?
Big fact. They use bad information to keep us enslaved or in chains or shackled. I mean, and that's my concern is that, again, if I tell you, and this is something that you see online, like if I tell you, if I teach you these things, you're going to go out and do those things. But if they're not necessarily right, you don't know because that's not what you were taught. And it just really, really bothers me.
I also want to add too, just for those who are watching, typically when you go to research something and you start to seek out information, most times the truth is threaded. So you'll start to see some of the same facts and conversations throughout different professionals' discussions. So now you can pinpoint, okay, that must be fact because I'm hearing this person say it, and that person say it, and it's written in this book, it's discussed in this blog or different things, but you need to be looking at a minimum of 3 different sources that are all correlating with the same type of information.
Well, Tracy, I want to piggyback off that because you said correlate. I was always taught to do your research, but then seek out sources that go against or contradict what you're reading. So then that way you can get both sides of the coin. And I feel like you fall into what they call the bias. I forget the bias.
Confirmation.
Thank you, Courtney. Confirmation bias, when you just read the same thing over and over and over again, and you really don't get to see another perspective.
But we saw that with Juneteenth. We saw it with the story of Juneteenth, how they were saying that Lincoln freed the slaves. No, he didn't. That's not the whole story. And unless and until you actually read the Emancipation Proclamation, do you realize that he only freed the slaves in a certain portion of the Confederacy, which he called the rebel states. So again, we saw it just as recently as that. And everybody has been saying the same thing for years. That's what I learned in school. That's what.
So, Courtney, I want to push back with you real quick, because what people will say is that many of the northern states had already outlawed slavery.
Not all the border states. No, the border states did not.
Well, Pennsylvania had outlawed slavery, but it still had slavery taking place.
Right, but West Virginia, which broke off from Virginia, actually still allowed slavery, and it was specifically exempted in the Emancipation Proclamation. It was 5 pages. It was actually written in beautiful script, and it specifically says that it excluded slaves that were in West Virginia, in Norfolk, and in Portsmouth, Virginia, also in New Orleans, in Orleans Parish, and there were a couple of other places that was specifically mentioned to state that were Union occupied, and that's what actually was the historical lens on it. They were Union occupied and they could keep their slaves. So my problem is that in certain areas he did not free he just didn't. It's just factually incorrect. But that's a story that we keep telling.
Hey man, so I asked that question so we could get to that point. So Adrian didn't come back and answer.
I mean, some of the stuff you see in history books are crazy. I saw a book, slavery, what did they call it? Involuntary immigration.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that's still in some history books right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is a shame.
Yep.
All right. So just getting back to some of these comments. Okay. So Shana McMillan said this conversation was a breath of fresh air. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Alexa says my father became a millionaire working at UPS when they went public on stock options. Yep.
So did my grandfather on GE. I know that's right.
So, like when you ask the question, what can Brown do for you? Well, Brown can make me a millionaire. Right? I mean, again, we really got to be more methodic, more questioning, more non-trusting of these quote-unquote myths or these quote-unquote, I don't even know what to call them. Okay, so Amina Design says, shout out to Amina Designs. She's a member of the Black Wealth Project. I agree, one size does not fit all. Absolutely.
Oh, to the point about Alexis is an awesome attorney out of Chicago. She does a lot of real estate work. She does I believe she does intellectual property. Just a really dope attorney. So again, that's kind of that generational wealth. So her father worked at UPS. She was able to become a dope attorney. She had a lot of different options that she had. So I mean, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about generational wealth.
Absolutely. Because we all stand on the shoulders of giants in one way or another. But sometimes we have to realize there's ways of creating bigger giants that we can exceed and go even further. Many Publix employees retired as millionaires. And Publix is a supermarket, right?
Yep. It's a really great supermarket. It's like a Wegmans.
Yeah.
They're down in the South, though, right?
West.
So what about people who file bankruptcy to avoid paying taxes? Well, that's a legal proceeding. They did it legally, right? So I think Courtney and Jimmy all said that there were some ways to go about it, but there's literally people who do everything in their power to avoid paying taxes, whether it be working under the table, whether it be just not reporting their reportable wages. Because listen, if you work a job, those wages are reported. And if you run a business, a real business, there's something being tracked, whether it's your bank records, whether it's your employee records, there's something that's being tracked. And if it ever comes to case that you get audited, you're up the river without a paddle.
And Sierra, I would like to put in air quotes, avoid, because bankruptcy, you don't really avoid paying it. It's more of a restructuring and a shifting to make it a little bit more sizable for you to be able to take care of your tax responsibility in some cases, depending on what chapter you file. So it's not an avoid.
Great point. That was a great point.
All right, so Don Johnson said in 2020, a lot of knowledge is free. A lot of knowledge is free, but the context is missing on how to use it. As Courtney said, the experience component of it, right? So we have theory on one side, we have application on the other. A lot of times the theory does not match up with the application. And if you don't have the experience to know that, that's when you get all kinds of jammed up. And Courtney said it right. They read a book. That's what she was really alluding to.
Oh no, they read a book and they tried to argue with my experience. I'm not here for it. I'm not.
Okay, so Sierra said the question was how to implement them in schools that most adults don't know.
That's fair. That was exactly my point. Thank you, Sierra. That was exactly it. Like most adults don't know finance. So how are you going to teach our children?
Right.
And you're basically going to take somebody else's curriculum, which may or may not be right because you don't know finance, so you can't vet it. I'm good.
So Sierra says her mother was taught financial basics in school. So I guess maybe that was like a home ec or something like that.
Basics are awesome
Yeah, they removed that though. They removed that. Like
facts, home ec, all of that stuff needed to be taught. It is no longer taught, and most folks don't even know how to buy groceries. But I digress.
And so Alexa said Brown did a whole lot.
It sure did.
I know that's right.
I ain't mad at it.
Okay,
Okay, Alexa. Oh, so Alexa's got a couple dollars. What's up, Alexa? Yo,
I knew what I was saying.
Okay.
Okay, impact and epic impact investors. All right, so for all my real estate people out there, y'all take a note of that. So listen, Alexis, when you get up and going, let us know because we definitely need more Black, hard-earned, hard money people out there.
She's really dope. Really dope.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure, Sierra. I'm sure.
So Sierra, you're saying that you've met people that filed bankruptcy just for the sake of avoiding taxes,
like the president.
Go, Courtney. Shoots and scores.
Oh Lord have mercy.
All right. So that was hilarious.
I'm not
All
here.
right. So listen. The reason why we do this show is because we want to combat a lot of this misinformation that's floating around in ether, and we want to have a safe place where we can actually have real discussions about real things and real information. So I hope this was helpful to everybody. But as we move along to the next segment of the show, did everybody get a chance to read that article I sent out about the reparations proposal?
I did.
Okay, I'm going to put it up on the screen.
I read it.
Just in talking about it, what did you think about it, Courtney?
So his basic premise, from what I can recall, was that every descendant of slaves should receive $20,000 every year for 20 years. And basically saying that was the way to close the racial wealth gap. Is that and considering the way that we run our government at a consistent deficit, that would actually provide more options for people, especially those who make $40,000, which is the median income. That was pretty much his commentary, basically saying he provided a framework of why he thought that was the only answer. Jimmy quoted it earlier. Money does not solve money problems.
But not only that, right? But let's stick to the analysis here. I think they're talking about 400,000 over 20 years. I think that's super light, in my opinion, as a reparation payment. I mean, let's just start there. And the idea of
Bob Johnson's equal out to
Bob's was 14,000. I mean, I'm sorry, 14 trillion.
What did that come out to be?
But it equaled out to about 300,000 per person, something like that.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty light too, though. But I guess he broke it down to be a bit more palatable. Go ahead, Courtney. I'm sorry.
Here's my other question, though. When you have infusions of cash into an economy, you invariably have inflation. So what are we going to do to deal with inflation? So if everybody has an additional, and I shouldn't say everybody, but people have an additional $20,000 available to them every year, don't you think the cost of goods are going to go up? And not necessarily proportionally, but they're going to go up because people have extra money. So I'm very concerned about how we I think one of the things is I think we need to have direct payments. I mean, I think we definitely should have cash. You guys got cash off of us. Come on. But I also think we should have some non-tangible things, social equity programs, forgiveness of loans and some other things. I think it needs to be, I don't think there's a one size fits all answer to fix the racial inequalities that have existed for 400 plus years.
Got you. All right, so Francine Taylor says, let me plug my wife's CPA firm with tax issues. Okay, a total solution CPA firm. All righty.
They're in Illinois. I think they're in Illinois or Indiana, one of the two. Francine's from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Pittsburgh. She's from Berg. Okay.
Yeah.
I salute them.
Yeah, so I thought it was a little light, but I mean, I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks. Billy, you have any thoughts on it, or?
No, I mean, I've read it. Like I told you, I know how I'm going to get my reparations. I'm going on Ancestry.com, and every white person on my ancestry, I'm gonna hit them up. I need a few dollars. That's how I'm gonna get mine. So, but as far as the article goes, I'm like, man, they're giving everybody $20,000 a year. I might have a few more kids. I'm like,
You're gonna be partying, huh? You're gonna be partying, huh?
Yeah. At least if we don't have them directly, should we gonna adopt 20 racks a year? Yeah, I'm adopting. Taking 2 of them.
God bless you. I couldn't adopt anymore.
He already thinking of the scam. He already thinking of the reparation scam.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yo,
listen, audience, I'm curious. If y'all got $20,000 a year for 20 years, what would you do with it?
Invest.
Definitely invest.
Definitely. What else would I do with it? Invest.
Man.
Listen, somebody,
that's
somebody
20 extra. So you're living off of
they're getting that rape. Let's not front. They're getting that rape.
I might do that too.
This is my concern with all of these conversations about giving out money. Why isn't it contingent upon financial education? Why aren't we talking about
no contingencies?
But see, that's where I have the problem. In order to operate a vehicle, you have to be tested and be able to approve to get a licensure. It shouldn't be no different than giving out large lump sums of money because people can actually hurt themselves.
We black. No contingencies.
No, I mean,
listen.
Like you have a
couple things.
You got to fix it.
I want to say something though, right, so, Tracy? I actually think that's dangerous, right? Because what they push now as financial literacy is nothing but hyper consumerism classes. So I think whatever you get from the government is going to be a further extension of what they call financial literacy classes right now. How to write a check, how to get credit, how to get a mortgage, how to get a car. It's not going to be about investing, taxes, or generating.
But I don't think that's a bad thing because people don't know how to get a car. People don't know how to get a mortgage. They don't know how to maintain their credit. Like I think that basic stuff actually can help. I mean, that's like the 2-step. We out here tripping and fumbling and stumbling because we just don't have the financial 2-step down. Like, come on, like we have to do something. And before I had gotten to my myths, I had one myth that it really just burns my butt, y'all.
So what is it?
The whole I don't need a will. Y'all know what I want.
Child, I'm not can't do this today.
Oh,
that's a myth.
That's filthy.
That's a myth.
Yeah, it is.
I talked about it in my article. I mean, I hear that more often than not, and people are like, "Yeah, whatever. My wife gets everything." No, she doesn't. Now, if you don't die, if you die without a will in Pennsylvania, depending on how your family's set up, your wife can get as little as 50% of your estate.
Your wife.
What if they're children from a previous? What if they're children from a previous relationship?
That's exactly what happens. That's exactly when it happens. If you have children from a previous relationship, it's 50-50. The children get 50% and the wife or the surviving spouse, gets 50%. Yeah. Yeah. And if you have children and they're all in the same relationship, it's the first 30,000 goes to the wife and then it's 50-50. It's 50-50 after that. So yeah, it's usually not what you want. but people kind of they just really make a mess of it because they
assume that.
I'm sorry.
I said, yeah, no, you're right. They assume that everything will go to the wife. Like, I want to give a shout out to Rhonda Anderson. Thanks again to Kamari for that plug. Rhonda just finished my personal will the other day. So yeah, good luck for that. And they ask some real questions. That's why I asked myself, like, damn, if you die, who gonna take the kids? Who gonna manage their bread? I'm like, shit, I don't trust none of my friends to raise my kids. So it's like, a family. Like,
that's why you put that post up.
Yes, if I put it up right because of Rhonda, right? She was like, "Yo, all right, who gonna be the trustee? Who gonna be the beneficiaries? Who gonna be the guardians?" I'm like, "Damn, these are real questions."
Yo,
and I want to just bring this all the way back
shout out
to
to
the conversation that I had
earlier. Who was on our?
Oh, sorry, Jimmy, I was like breaking up a little bit. But bring it.
Shout out to Rhonda who was on our podcast recently. Kamari, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Tracy. There's a little delay on this side. But anyway, Kamari, I just want to answer your question real quick about that 20,000 though. If I got the extra 20,000, I probably would just live out like Drake's God Plan video and just walk around like, out money or what have you. But if everybody got 20 grand, they might not need my money.
That's a problem.
But Sierra put something. Sierra asked a question on here that I thought was an interesting question because.
So, Jimmy, you're going to have a problem with that, right?
Why is that?
What giving out? You might run into gift tax issues.
Well, no, you have an exemption. Fine. You have a yearly exemption every year, and then you have a cap on top of that overall for a lifetime. No,
listen, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open the church. That's what I'm gonna do. Open the church, get my 10%. I need it.
Okay. All right.
But look at the question that she asked in there, because I thought about that when I read your article, because the article talks about the descendants, and she asked the question.
Where is that question at?
How are we going to prove who's the descendant? Because I really believe that a little bit higher. It's interesting because you're going to have a lot of folks out there who are against it right now.
But wait a minute. So where is her? Oh, is this it?
No. It's 813, Kamari. The comment came in.
No. It's below that.
No. I'm looking right at it. Sierra A. Roberts, 813. How are they going to determine who are descendants?
Yeah. Sierra, that's a great question. I always want.
Yeah.
When
that's the question I want to know.
So.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I have paperwork, so I'm okay.
So I got to do one too. So Courtney just triggered me, right? So my myth that I think of right now is the pink Cadillac myth. And the pink Cadillac myth is anytime or when I used to do life insurance, I would get these old black guys and it says, I'm not getting no life insurance because I'm not leaving no money to my wife so she can get a pink Cadillac and move some N-word to my house. And I've been told that. Listen, I told it was a joke. Right? There was some people that joked about it, right? There were some people that really meant it. So we really have a hard time dealing with mortality and some of our thought process around mortality.
Agreed.
We need life insurance. If you can get it, it's probably one of the best uses of money you'll ever have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely, and I mean, we have to. There's a business we are so busy dealing with the emotions of death that we don't deal with the business of death. And there's a lot of business that goes on. Most people tell me that, I don't have anything, and then I'm like, don't you have a house? Yeah, I have a house. Well, where's that going to go? I don't know. That's a problem. Don't you have a bank account? Yeah. Where's that going to go? I don't know. Don't you have a car that's paid off? Who's going to take care of that? Or a car not paid off? Who's going to take care of that? I mean, again, the business of death is a lot. And I mean, I really get so frustrated because that's where we lose a lot of our wealth. We lose a lot of our wealth at death.
So how do you feel about buy term and invest the rest?
I think it's dumb. I will turn the whole place out. Now, let me
Listen,
Say it again, Courtney. Say it again. Say it again.
what
Somebody coming in
Say
my
it
phone.
again.
I think buy term and invested difference is dumb. It's the stupidest thing I've heard.
Why?
Absolutely not. So here's the thing. Insurance has a couple of different options. Like term does not save all of the At the end of the day, we all live in Pennsylvania right now. Guess what there is when you die? The inheritance tax. 0% for spouses, 4.5% for lineals, which are parents and children. And then your siblings is 12%. Anybody else with your cousin or your neighbor, 15%. Yeah, that happens. And guess when the government wants it? Within 9 months of the decedent's date of death. But you do get a discount if you pay it in 3. So that's that. So guess what? You need some insurance for that. And term has a term. What I tell people when we're having the conversation, and AOL picked up my article about it, is that you have a smaller whole policy that deals with your burial, that is slated to deal with burial, slated to deal with any tax or financial obligations at death, and anything else that you might need to clean up at the end. Fine. Term, you get a larger term because it is cheaper, but it takes care of any obligations that are reduced over time. So your mortgage is going to be reduced over time, but you still need to cover some term for the entire length of the mortgage. You have, if you want to send your children to school, that's something also that you get for term insurance and use that for. Private student loans do not go away at death. Federal loans do. But if you have a private student loans, please understand if you have any assets, they're going to come and marching and attach that asset because they want their money. So there's a couple of there's every type of insurance has a purpose. And I really get frustrated because they're like, buy term and invest the difference. And most people don't invest the difference. And even still, and they're not even really educated enough to invest the difference. So they just end up getting term. And there's so many people that have come to me after the term expires, like so-and-so died 2 years after the term insurance expired. And they didn't do anything else. And they didn't have.
Man, listen, not 2 years. My mom's term policy ran out in April. My dad died in December.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
So that happens a lot. Especially with us, like not having insurance can be the difference between your family being destitute and being okay. We're not trying to get you, a pink Cadillac or gold-plated floors. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to maintain your quality of life. It is moving the risk of loss, the loss of life of your life from you and your family to the insurance company. That's all it is. We don't argue. I mean, some people do about car insurance. You're just moving the risk of loss from you to the insurance company. That's all it is. That's what life insurance is. And I feel like we're always being sold something. We're always trying to, you can do this fancy thing with life insurance and this fancy thing with life insurance all the time. And it's like, you know what? The average person just needs some basic behind. I want to say something else, but basic behind life insurance. It's not hard, but we make it really hard because we're always being sold to. So we don't even get good information to make good decisions about half the financial things that go on. Like, I'm so frustrated. I was in the financial services industry as a financial advisor. I worked with Main Street and I worked with high net worth clients. My average client had a portfolio of $3 million or more. So, and the reason why I say that is that people are always telling me what the rich do. Yeah, the rich do this. No, they don't. You're making it up. Do you know a rich person? Have you seen their accounts? Have you been their financial advisor? I mean, like, where are you getting this from? This mythical, magical rich person that just does these mythical, magical things? No, stop it. Stop it. It's annoying. And it's detrimental and it hurts.
But Courtney, to your point, I think that goes like in terms of this whole show with the money myths. Like, even what true wealth is, we're sold a lie, right? And we're sold this lifestyle or these actions that the wealthy do because we're marketed to since the day we're born, and we're brainwashed to believe that wealth means one thing and people act one way. So that's part of the issue. When people say the wealthy do this, that is always hilarious to me.
I mean, I've seen people come in, they're like the wealthy, the meme that gets my nerves the most is that you have one person has a net worth of negative, but they have all their quote wealth on their body. And then you have the person who has $1 million net worth, and then they're basically in jeans and t-shirts. And I'm like, no, that's not how it really works. I mean, I had some clients that looked like they were worth every bit of whatever $1 million portfolio they had. And then I had other people that looked like, did you wash today? I mean, That's how it was. And I think when you understand, like, wealth doesn't make it, just makes you who you are. It doesn't do anything. It's like who you are. So if you like run around in the streets looking like, who shot John, that's how you are. That's how you rock. That's okay. But again, to Jimmy's point, like, we're sold this myth about what wealth is, what wealth looks like, what we should aspire to if we're wealthy. Like, stop. Like, that's how we really lose what's supposed to be out in this world for us, is that we're always trying to judge our success by what somebody else is doing or what we think someone else is doing, because we don't know.
All that is true. All that is definitely true.
We said that Will and Jay were married.
Hold on, Courtney. Hold on, y'all.
Amen.
Everything that
Courtney going in, I'm about to get my $1 out, couple dollars out.
Yeah, we definitely need to compensate Courtney, because her blood pressure is up right now. But I did want to stop real quick because Jimmy brought this up, and he talked about the interview with Rhonda Anderson on their podcast, the bottom of the podcast. So go listen to episode 58 where they talked to Rhonda Anderson. Rhonda's my homie. I'm actually mad at Jimmy, and I'm mad at Corey because they scooped my interview. But it's all good. It's friendly competition out here. If you move, you lose. I move too slow. So wow, Courtney, I don't even know if we can follow that up.
I'm just annoyed. I mean, because I'm trying, y'all, and I mean, I guess
pass the plate.
Whole, like, quarantine is nothing.
Courtney, can we put your Cash App out there?
Yeah, just the idea there.
Listen, everybody said Courtney's somebody, the Ivy investor. She just gave y'all a whole legal breakdown. Now, I will say this, me and Courtney, for the most part about the insurance piece, we both kind of agree. I will say this, though. If you can't afford anything else, I'd say spend as much you got on term for right now. But, and this is a big but, make sure you got all your riders in place to convert that term to something permanent. And again, however, you got to keep an eye on it. But here's the real deal, and why I appreciate what Courtney said. A lot of people don't even really know how much they can spend on life insurance because they don't budget. And so without knowing that, you don't know what kind of insurance you really can take advantage of. So you got to really do a good job. Know this, whole life pays the most commission, pays the highest commission. Mm-hmm. Term usually pays the least. Term usually cancels out the first, though. People stop paying it. Whole life typically is there for the whole of your life. Mm-hmm. So just keep that all in mind.
Kamari, I dropped my AOL article just in case people want to read it more about term and whole life and all that. And I mean, just someone shared, I think in the comments, that they have whole and term. I have whole and term.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I have a 200. Don't try to kill me off because you're not.
All right, Courtney, stop. We're not putting out insurance death benefits.
Well, no, but I think it's important to have the conversation. I have a mortgage that I'm getting. I have a term policy that matches my mortgage.
Okay, but you were about to say a number.
I was.
Yeah, no numbers.
Okay, fine. So I have a term policy that matches my mortgage. That's what I have. That's what I put in place a couple of weeks ago. We just got to clear to close. So again, if something happens between whenever, we at least have that covered. I also have a whole policy. I've actually 2 or 3 whole policies, 2 of which I've actually ported from a former employer. So I didn't have to get anything done. I just kind of signed over whatever I was using. One of the things that was really important is that when my mother retired, my mother actually was older. We did not know she had cancer at the time, but what we did is we actually moved her insurance from her employer, and now she has whole life insurance now that she's carrying. Had we not done that, she would not have been insurable.
Yeah, that's another one.
And a lot of us are not insurable.
It will keep you out of probate. Yeah, it doesn't. Will is part of the probate process, but
and there's nothing wrong with probate. I want to be very clear about that. It's nothing wrong with it. Like, it's not a hard and terrible task if you actually have your ducks in order. What happens is people go to probate. They end up and the will is not done well. It's not actually conveying everything because not everything needs to. Some people are like, oh, put everything in trust. Not everybody needs a trust. And I think that's something that's very important, is that people hear these things out in the world and they're like, oh, you should get a trust. Why? Why do you need a trust? Like, what do you need to control? Like, do you have a child with special needs? Do you have minor children at all? Do you have a spendthrift child that you may say, you know what? my friend, you need to get something with health, education, maintenance, and support. You don't need to have your own money in your pocket because you're going to run up some creditors and they're going to take all the money that I left for you. We don't want that. So there's a conversation, and I'm glad that Malik talked about it with Rhonda. He's like, hey, we had a lot of different questions, a lot of different conversations. And I think that's a really important thing, is that when you're having, don't hold anything back from your state attorney. If you have extra children outside your marriage, please don't do that. Just listen. You can tell I'm being honest.
That's not a reference to Malik. Malik don't cheat. Black men.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I have no idea. Listen, oh my goodness. I have his wife calling me. Oh goodness gracious.
No entanglements.
Real quick, you don't think every child needs an LLC and the trust to own the LLC or none of that?
I just got a Cash App. Let's go. I love it.
All right, so you got to shout out the person that gave you the Cash App.
I think it's Don Johnson. I think it was Don. Yeah, it's Don Johnson. Thank you so much, Don. I really appreciate that. But
shout out to
no children don't need an LLC. Why you need it? Why? What you gonna do? Have you heard of the hobby loss rule? Y'all make no money in it.
You seen that meme though? Get your kid an LLC. Get the business credit up.
I dealt with it too. It's on my Instagram. I talked about it on Instagram. I'm not doing this with people because it's ridiculous. I'm gonna keep it funky. I'm gonna keep it funky because I think it's really important to be honest. Because if I mince my words, people get confused and they may think that I have some kind of affinity for something that I don't. No, I think it's ridiculous. Now, do you want to bring on your child? Because here's the thing: if you have an asset in your child's name that may not be your child, when you're looking to get financial aid, your child asset gets calculated at 20%, where your assets get calculated towards your child's education at 5.64%. So basically, your child's asset is going to hurt them when it comes to financial aid. But it's not even really their asset. And then they're saying, well, yeah, you can build up business credit for for your child. Well, business credit and personal credit aren't the same. So what kind of, we're confusing things, guys. Like this is why financial literacy is so important.
So, Sarah, I'm not sure I'm following this rabbit hole. Most of us were from here. What if we are? Oh, okay. You're going down the native route. I got you. Gotcha.
I was taught there's 3 people you don't lie to. You don't lie to your attorney, your doctor, or your therapist.
Don't lie to your tax people.
Please don't, because nobody wants us. I don't want people at my door. Don't. So, are you the tax preparer for so and so? No. They're like, but you signed a tax return. Okay. I don't want them at my door. You don't want them either. So just don't lie. Don't lie.
So yeah, people have their finances in an entanglement. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm mad I didn't think about that. Amina Design says, as the village, we need to create a healthy narrative about what wealth is. It's not just money. I believe it's health, family, wealth, education, etc. Not just money. I think everybody on this panel absolutely agrees with that. I know I do. I think everybody else does.
Yeah.
We actually talk about it all the time, right? If you're not healthy, you'll never be able to truly get to the levels of wealth that your potential can afford for you. So
money's just how we keep score.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again, Tracy. Say it again.
I said money is just how we keep score.
All right. So a lot of people can just do a transfer on death. What's the I for, Courtney?
I don't know.
Okay,
Chicago,
but I know
it's different. So there's a transfer death, maybe interest. I don't know. Like everything. So one of the things that people need to understand, which I think is, and I'm glad that you brought it up, is that estates are actually dictated by state law.
All right, listen. I'm not going there with you, Sarah. I don't want no smoke.
Okay, so she said a payable on death instrument and name beneficiaries on insurance bank accounts. Yes, you can. And it makes life a lot easier when it comes to, now a lot of people feel like if I name beneficiaries in Pennsylvania, I can only speak about Pennsylvania. If I do all of that, I can not pay taxes. No, you will pay taxes, inheritance tax. You pay taxes on everything. And people feel like they can put stuff in trust. And sometimes you can avoid depending on how the trust is set up. But a lot of times you cannot. And I want to be very clear of that.
Yeah.
Are we gonna
Ronald,
Yo, block him, man. Block that Ronald Smith dude,
like this is
man.
ridiculous? Like you're gonna peddle like
Block him, man.
nah.
His account had to have been hacked.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, because he trying to hijack the conversation with the tomfoolery, and you've been patient, and I'm less than patient with that kind of stuff, man. And I really want to say something crazy, but I don't want everybody else to have to deal with the repercussions of what I say. But block dude before I say what I gotta say, man. Because normally I put it in writing.
He's been blocked.
He's blocked.
I think he's a Russian bot, so there's no way a conscious person could do those things. So
no.
Wayne Texas start a block party. Listen, I mean, I know y'all been sharing this. I saw a lot of people share this out, so we appreciate all the shares. And as we grow and as more people check out the show, we may have to have block parties more often than not. So, and I'm fine with that. But listen, moving things right along. We've been on for quite some time. We're at the hour and 30-minute mark. Black moment of joy. What we got? Anybody got anything?
Ooh, I do. Y'all, I got my blue check on Instagram. I am.
Oh, yay.
All right, Courtney. So you got to tell the people what's behind that blue check.
Now they can stop trying to copy your account.
Listen. So I've had my account in the last week cloned twice. And it was, to me, like I called my trademark attorney and I'm like flipping out. Like I'm so upset. And next thing I know, and I applied for verification a long time ago. And next thing I know is like, you've been verified. I was like, and I have a little blue check. So I was commenting with the celebrities, we all blue checking it together. I was like, oh yes, I got that on Friday. I was super excited. Means I'm verified. I am who I am, a public figure. I am who they think I am and all that other stuff. And I'm just really excited. I also got featured in AARP this week talking about saving tips. So I just had
That's why you asked us about AARP.
I'm sorry?
That's why you asked us about AARP.
Yes. I admit it. I got featured. I'm so excited. I mean, it's the old people magazine, but it's all good.
Can I tell the people what I said about your article, or you gonna punch me in the face if I said it?
I won't. Please do.
Tell him, Corey.
I say I felt 20 years older than I really am, but as soon as I read it, it aged me. Like, but it's good advice. There's nothing wrong with the advice in it. I just felt like a 70-year-old man when I read it.
Listen, AARP starts at 55, baby.
I'm just saying, I didn't feel 55 when I read it.
I know,
I felt like I played Pokino, and I felt like I played Pokino at the old folks' home when I read the joke.
Not Pokino.
And bed with. All right. I had to say that.
It's good. It's all good.
Well, congratulations to you, Courtney.
Congratulations.
Anybody else have any black magic this week?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like to see the protesters behind the mayor in Louisville. Fire, gentrifier chanting.
Oh yes.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, they ran the mayor off the stage.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, get him out of there.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. I've actually talked to a couple of law enforcement people about arresting the police officers that shot and killed Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. Mm-hmm. And they don't think that they will be standing to arrest those police because of the fire that was sent out, the gunfire that was sent out by the boyfriend. And they think that's the technicality. I'm not a lawyer. I see Courtney going up in her mind, but that's
I'm not a criminal attorney. But I'm trying to think.
I hope that's wrong, though. I hope that's wrong.
I feel like the party started with a no-knock warrant, and that's why he did the gunfire. I think that's the chronological part of it. And the attorneys, please, y'all jump in, because this ain't my thing. I deal with money, and I deal with property. I don't do criminal stuff. But I thought when I read
the criminality wouldn't be on the officers because they're just doing their job.
No. I think the whole party started, but for them doing a no-knock warrant or no-knock, not
the wrong address
there. Huh?
At the wrong address.
Right. They didn't say, hey, we're here. And that is a constitutional violation. But again, I kind of read the article, and offhand, I don't remember what the chronological matter was. And I think, yes, there is a problem because he did, but I think he shot as a result of someone basically coming into his home. But I don't.
Let me be clear. I think he was totally justified. So I'm not saying that to like say he was wrong.
No. I mean, talking about in terms of, but legally, that those facts, that chronological order actually makes a difference. So that's why I said, like, I'm not sure, like, what happened first. And I thought the party started because there was no knock warrant, or there was a no knock. You know, they're supposed to knock. Like, you don't just be running up in people's house. Like,
but they had a no knock warrant, which is why they didn't knock. So, which is probably why they're not in jail already.
No. But that's not legal. That's the whole point. No knocks, like that. That's illegal. That's a problem. Like that. So if you do that, even if you're serving it, you still have to say knock, 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 police. You still got to do that.
All right. I mean, listen.
It's a messed up situation either way.
Yeah.
Either way you go.
Yeah. That whole situation is terrible. Like, everybody, the dude did exactly what he was supposed to do, and
Absolutely.
End up getting.
Listen, and I commend them for being able to react that fast. You know, in the middle of the night, he had the wherewithal to jump up, get the hammer, start busting back. Yo, I commend him for that kind of reaction time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He must have that thing under the pillow or under the bed or something, because it was in the middle of the night.
Okay.
So anybody else got any black magic moments for the week?
I have one.
Okay.
It wasn't exactly this week because I think everything kind of happened closer to last week. But the case for Terrence Lewis in Philadelphia that was freed after being wrongfully accused for a crime he didn't commit in 1996 in West Philadelphia, and he was incarcerated for 21 years, finally won the settlement and was awarded $6.25 million by the city of Philadelphia for being wrongfully accused, and is going to be intricate in some of the police reform that's going to be done in the city of Philadelphia. So that made me feel good because I knew personally some of the folks that were on his legal team who had worked tirelessly for a long time to make that happen.
And how many years was he away again?
21. He was incarcerated at 17.
I mean, I'm glad he got the award, but $6 million for 21 years of your life.
Yeah. That don't even make it. Yeah, that's not even. I mean, I'm glad he got a bag, but
Right.
that's not a proper bag.
And I'm sure there's going to be some lawyer fees associated with that. And I ain't trying to count his pockets, but I'm just saying, like, he deserves way more than that. Like, at least $1 million for each year he was away. But
I don't disagree, but I do feel like it's a W in a space of he now may be able to create some opportunities for his son and as well as his family that he could not if that tragedy had not happened. And I do believe for perpetuity, his entire case is literally going to be at the forefront of some of the police reform that has to happen and is already in the works for Philadelphia.
no, I mean, I agree with you, Tracy. I'm just saying, like, I hear these cases so much, right? There's so many people that have been wrongfully in prison for so long, and then they get these little bags, like Corey said, the size of the bag ain't adequate. But moving right along, thank you for that. Anybody got any else? Any other? So I'll say this, right? I saw yesterday that John Lewis died, and then I saw a retraction that said he was still alive. So I don't know if that counts as a black magic moment, but I was really happy to see that he hadn't passed, because when I saw that he passed, my heart really dropped, because John Lewis has done a lot. And I don't even think people realize how much he's done and how much he's sacrificed. But I'm glad he's still here. I'm glad he's still around. I'm glad he's still fighting. I'm guessing he's not in the best of conditions, but I'm glad he still has another day on this earth. All right, so if anybody on the panel has anything you want anyone to support, now's the time to announce it. So, Courtney, you have anything?
I think it was just my article, the people to read in the comment on my article that I wrote about 3 ways to avoid financial entanglements. That'd be great.
Yeah, and that was shared in the comments already. You got like three supporters and some money. So
I did.
Are you
I
gonna
did, and I'm in quarantine. So what am I supposed to do?
Are you gonna share the bread with your team? She got right on us, y'all.
You're like, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Corey, you got anything? Support?
Yeah. Come the Black Will Project on Sundays, 7:00. Be here, be square. We really talk about what's really going on out here, and we don't sugarcoat it. And we really giving out the good information. So get with us 7:00 on Sundays.
Gotcha. Malik.
All right, so yeah, I'm trying to get people out of survival mode, man. So try to stop some of this violence. Have people making decisions they shouldn't have to make. So if you are an employer, or if you know an employer or a job training or entrepreneurship or some kind of resources that we could offer people so they can get out of survival mode and begin to thrive, just jump in my DMs. Put it on my page. You know, I'm going to be doing some. I'm calling them Instagram job fairs, man. So I'm definitely going to do some Instagram job fairs. So if you know anybody, hit my DM. Try to do some Instagram job fairs, man. Try to get people working.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Tracy.
I got a few this week, just small asks. First things first, and I always say this. Please own something, Black people. Please own where you live. Please own some property or something else. Reach out definitely to me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Real Estate Tracy. But I also want to ask you, as we're in this COVID pandemic, wash your hands, put on your mask, and please stay safe, because this disease is not discriminatory. So I want to make sure you guys are all here, and make sure you get a will, because COVID is coming quickly for a lot of people, and a lot of folks are finding out that they don't have wills.
True that. Jimmy, coming to you.
All right, cool. So, 2 things. I want everybody to go to By the Hood on Instagram at By the Hood. I call my finance memes, because I spend a lot of time making them, and I just want to get some likes on my memes. So at By the Hood, go like my memes. And the second thing is Own Your Time in Space, right? So this is a book that was written by Corey and I. You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to ownyourtimeinspace.com. Or bythehooduniversity.com if you just want to get the digital download. But everybody support our book. So that's Own Your Time in Space. So that's my ask.
All right. And so my ask is, I want everybody to go listen to my podcast. So this week I launched my podcast. It's been in the works for quite some time, like years. I've been sitting on this thing. So I finally dug out some of the archives, started to put up old shows, putting up new shows. A lot of y'all see my content on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be a lot of that as well, but it'll also be a lot of exclusive things. So everybody go check out the Finance Pro Show on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google.
Oh. Awesome.
Nice. So as we close out, everybody, do me a favor. Do me a big favor. Go follow the Black Wealth Project on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course on IG. And of course, we'll be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. to talk about all these pertinent financial issues that are facing the Black community. Listen, if you want to continue to join us and have conversations with us throughout the week, join the Black Wealth Project group. We're in there. We're always talking about money, Black money as it relates to Black folks. And we would love to hear your commentary about a lot of things. So thank you all. We're honored that you all joined us tonight. We'll see you next week. Everybody have a great and prosperous week. So long.
Bye-bye.
Peace.